How is everybody doing? First of all, I would like to wish Happy Mother's Day to everyone. I don't usually make videos, but I recently was working for several months on this book of mine. It was 496 pages, 1,158 photographs from my 10,000-mile walk across 70 countries. It is something I'm really proud of. I only made 80 copies for friends and relatives. It is not for sale. And it was an unbelievable amount of work, and it left me with some nerve damage in both of my hands because I overexerted myself. I was working on it many hours a day for several months, and it was hundreds of thousands of mouse clicks. I had to go through 40,000 photographs and reject 97% of them, and then I had to format them and put them into sequence and captions and proofreading. It was really an unbelievable amount of work. But again, I overexerted myself, and I ended up with some nerve damage in both of my hands. So instead of typing my daily notes, I decided I would just record a video. My condition is not serious. I will be getting it checked on the 1st of June, and it's not carpal tunnel syndrome. It's something a lot less serious, but I really do have to rest my hands for the next few weeks. I wanted to address some frequently asked questions that I've been getting recently. I want to start with Doge because, as you most of you know by now, Elon Musk is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live tonight, and there is speculation that he will say something about this. Doge now has an $80 billion valuation. This started out as a joke, and it now has a market valuation greater than FedEx, greater than General Motors, greater than most of the names in the S&P 500. Again, it started out as a joke, but it is no joke anymore. I did not expect the price to jump 1,000% since I put my report on Doge out to my subscribers a few months ago. But this is a joke. You can't underestimate what the Doge army can do to this in the near term. But you have to understand that half of the $80 billion that is in Doge right now is controlled by less than 100 people. I would be shocked if they have not been selling into this stampede of people trying to get in before Elon Musk goes on television tonight. They've had a week to unload all of their, I call it doggy shit, on people that just don't understand the way this game is played. The question is, as many billions of dollars as they have been dumping, when does it get to the point where the people buying it overwhelm the sellers, as has been taking place recently? This reminds me of the penny stocks in the 1990s on the NASDAQ. If you put a .com at the end of your company name and went public, you made a lot of money. A lot of you may not even be aware that there were people selling DOGE during the last 24 to 48 hours and pouring the proceeds into a coin I had never even heard of, Shiba Inu, which is actually the mascot for the Doge shareholders. Shiba Inu is now number 54 on CoinMarketCap. And the trading volume was more than $1 billion in the last 24 hours. And I believe the price jumped by 200%. It's trading well under a penny. And my feeling is that people are starting to exit Doge and look for the next name that they can run up from 1 cent to 50 cents, like they did with Doge, like they did with GameStop, and some other Reddit names from recent months. This has turned into a game and a casino, and you're welcome to go to Las Vegas whenever you want. But just understand, the casino, their house, is a lot nicer and a lot larger than your house. So you should keep that into consideration. It is usually the house that wins money and is on the right side of a bet, not the individual. And yes, there are people that made a lot of money in altcoins in recent months, and the Bitcoin maximalists have been left shaking their heads, but this probably will not end well. I do expect the altcoin market to correct by 70, 80, possibly 90% next year off the top. Now, I have been very consistent in my 4 years since I recommended Bitcoin. You should not have more than 10 to 20% of your name in altcoins, and you should try to concentrate that money in names that are in the top 40 on CoinMarketCap, and you should spread out that 10 to 20% of your crypto money across a dozen names. As far as Bitcoin goes, I haven't changed my view in 4 years. The name has jumped 22x, 2200% since my recommendation 4 years ago. And I do expect it to double or triple over the next 6 to 12 months. There is something that you must understand here about Bitcoin. We are a few years away from having $1 quadrillion tied up in cash, stocks, bonds, gold, real estate, art, collectibles. And Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies are going after this $1 quadrillion market, and they are capturing market share as we speak. $1 quadrillion is 1,000 times a trillion, for whoever never heard of that word before. If you think Bitcoin will catch 1% of that 1 quadrillion market over the next few years, that would bring Bitcoin to a valuation of $10 trillion. It is $1.1 trillion right now. So you would be looking at 9x from where we are today, and that would put the price at $500,000. I completely expect us to see that over the next few years. My guess is that it will probably be at the top of the next cycle or the cycle after that. So you'd be looking at a 3 to 5 year time horizon from today. Now, if you assume that Bitcoin catches 2% of the $1 quadrillion, which is very possible over the next 7 to 10 years, then you're looking at a $1 million Bitcoin price. So you need to be careful and think long and hard before you pour money into garbage, altcoins, shitcoins that may bounce today and crash tomorrow. You should have most of your crypto money in Bitcoin and be patient and hold on to it for a few years. You will do fine with negligible downside risk. If you want to play, Russian roulette with your money and put it into the daily movers on CoinMarketCap, it probably will not end well for you. Now, as far as the entire space, if we assume that the entire cryptocurrency space can capture 2% as opposed to just Bitcoin over the next few years, then that would put the total coin market cap at $20 trillion. Then you have to ask yourself, what percentage market share will Bitcoin have? If it captures 40% of the 2 trillion, of the 20 trillion, then the valuation is $8 trillion. If it captures 60% of the 20 trillion, then you would be looking at $12 trillion and a price that would be $600,000 or $700,000 per Bitcoin. Then the second half of the equation is if you're in altcoins thinking that they will outperform Bitcoin, then you have to decide which names that you want to be in. You can day trade with a little bit of your money, but I am old school. I believe, buy and hold. And you should just concentrate that money, as I said earlier, across 10 or 12 names that are in the top 40 that have withstood the test of time. As far as the stock market goes, I will not call it a bubble. It is impossible to know how things will shake out. But the bottom line is we had the elimination of taxes, the elimination of regulations, elimination of interest rates, and the government printed trillions of dollars. And this has stimulated the stock market to a point where the valuations are something I don't understand and something I am very uncomfortable with. You should take into consideration that there could be a nasty correction in the next 6 to 12 months. There are fears that inflation is really starting to creep into the economy, even though the Fed is not willing to acknowledge this. But if you look at the price of copper and corn, both of them are up sharply. Copper is up, I think, 50%. Corn is up 200%. Steel is up 200%. I could go on and on. And the dollar is obviously declining in value. I think it's lost 10% of its value in the last couple of years. The volatility index is closer to 20 than it is to 40. It may have even dropped below 20 in the last few weeks. When the VIX is at that level, it points to complacency in the market, and that is usually a warning sign that we are near a top. The time to buy the stock market is when the opposite is happening, when the VIX spikes to 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, and everyone is selling. That's when you want to step in. That is what I recommended doing 14 months ago when the market collapsed, and now we are in the opposite situation where you probably want to take some money off the table. So to summarize, I would be really careful with DOGE. I don't know where it's going, but it is probably way too risky to have more than 1 to 2% of your net worth in. I would not worry about what it does after you exit the position, as long as you take the proceeds and put it into something that will appreciate. In other words, if you cash out of DOGE today and put your money into Bitcoin, it doesn't matter if DOGE goes to $1 or $1.20 or $1.40, because you will double or triple your money in Bitcoin with those proceeds. It's just a question of how long it takes. With Bitcoin, it might take 6 to 12 months. With Dogecoin, it might not happen. It might happen in a very short time span. That being said, you're taking a lot of downside risk if you remain in this name. I imagine a lot of people are going to be selling this in the next 24, 48, 72 hours, and you need to be really careful. Again, happy Mother's Day to everyone.